Welcome back to our training series, Volume 1, Chapter 3 of our TOEFL and SAT prep. And we're actually getting into a little bit more of the more in-depth concepts with regards to perfecting and fine-tuning your English grammar skills. And we're now going to be focusing on more powerful words that are prevalent on previous exams that we have found, and we have basically compiled a pretty extensive list of various types of words, and we'll actually put them into practice as we go deeper into this series. So let's start with chapter 3 here. We're actually looking at six grammar rules, and if we were to start with the first two, we're looking at uncountable and countable nouns. This is one of the more difficult grammar rules that facing TOEFL test takers, as far as using a countable versus uncountable noun. Uncountable nouns cannot take a plural form. So, for example, rolled oats is a healthy breakfast versus bananas are healthy. So there you can see the difference between an uncountable versus countable noun. Common words used with countable nouns are few and many, and common words used with uncountable nouns are a little, a lot, or much. But with respect to observing the correct grammar rules with respect to uncountable and countable nouns, always remember that the key takeaway here is to remember that uncountable nouns cannot take a plural form. Our next grammar rule that we're going to look at would be indefinite pronouns. They can take either the singular or plural form, and they are used as an unspecific description of the subject. So, for example, Sally is going to the store. Someone is going to the store. So, in this case, indefinite pronoun um, actually took place in with respect to the subject. You can use it to replace a pronoun or simply when you don't know who or what the object is. So if we were actually to take a look also at conditional and transitional phrases and words, we could also see that these are also very common and common grammar rules. Um, these are actually a little bit more difficult to grasp, so that we've actually left them for chapter 3, so that you can actually get a little bit more basic grasp as far as the grammar rules from chapters 1, previously posted chapters 1 and chapters 2. Before we actually get into our vocabulary, please remember that we are using the shuffle technique, and we're actually using index cards. So as we go deeper and deeper into our vocabulary brush up here for TOEFL and SAT, would recommend that you probably turn to like index cards, simple index cards, where on one side you have the word shuffle definition, and you'll be able to shuffle them at different times of day simply by keeping them on you. So you have the definition on one side, and then on the other side, you can have the synonym. We go over the synonym of each word that we explore, simply because a lot of times the synonym can be tricky, and a synonym will actually appear on the exam versus the actual word itself that is more commonly used. So a lot of test takers tend to lose a lot of points simply because they're not aware of synonyms that are associated with common, more complicated looking words versus seeing the synonym that is applicable to that particular word. So, in regards to conditional, just as it sounds, this grammar rule allows you to specify possible circumstances or situations. So, for example, if you won the lottery, what would you do with the money and why? So, this is conditional, and it's also stipulating a possible circumstance or situation. Excuse me. Another example is, if I had graduated with my college degree, I would have applied for the job in the newspaper. So that is another conditional application of the grammar rule. With respect to transitional phrases, this grammar rule allows you to piece together your ideas so that the elements of your sentences flow cohesively. For example, even though climate change is a major priority for many nations, the temperature is still rising. However, they will meet in Glasgow very soon to discuss various climate change initiatives. So, with respect to looking at the last two rules, we can see prepositions as well as other and another. And with respect to prepositions, these are words that are usually placed before a noun or a verb to help the writer convey the full scope of their idea or paragraph. As you can see from the prefix, it appears in front, so prepositions and transitions are almost mandatory for TOEFL and SAT test takers to get a high score. This rule accounts for many point reductions on exams, so that's why we left prepositions as one of the very final basic rules of grammar structure that we would take a look at in Chapter 3. So, for example, Jose is standing next to the TV. Jim is in the kitchen. So that will be an example of prepositions. It will point to proximity. It would helps the writer convey the full scope of the idea or the paragraph, and it also allows you to take a look at the prefix to the word, which is pre, which represents in front. And also, we take a look at other or another. The word another is used with singular nouns, and the word other is used with both singular and plural nouns. Examples would be, would you like another sandwich? Please name the other cities on your list of consideration. So those would be actually the six grammar rules that we're taking a look at this particular time, with respect to looking at the different aspects with regards to the grammar skills. So now we can actually take a closer look at our next set of 12 vocabulary words that we have found that were more prevalent on TOEFL and SAT exams. As we go through, always remember, as we mentioned, to try and keep your definition cards as well as your synonym cards, because we'll actually go over the synonym of each definition as we go through each one. So we can start with allusion, and with allusion we see that it basically means to refer to indirectly, and as a noun it's reference or quotation. So if we used it, we'd actually see the soccer player alluded to the level of practice required. Allusion, synonym, reference. So always remember, with respect to the word allusion, that the synonym is reference. Accentuate. Accentuate means to highlight. It's a verb. Usage. The executive's attire was accentuated by her polished shoes. With respect to a synonym, we would see that the most common synonym to the word accentuate would be emphasize. An adjective would be accentuated, and a noun would be accentuation. But the usage in this case, the executive's attire was accentuated by her polished shoes. We're looking at adept. The usage, the plumber is very adept at clearing debris in the pipes. Adjective meaning being talented or being able to do something well. Adept. An adept would be, and a synonym for adept would be skilled. Remember that you may see the synonym used, and at some point may be referenced to the word itself, but you should know both the definition of the word as well as its most common synonym also. So that will definitely help you with memorizing the word going in to your next exam. With respect to the next set, we have accolade, incessant, and placid. And with respect to those, accolade usage. The CEO received so many philanthropic accolades this year. Noun, meaning award or praiseful expression. Accolade. And synonym for accolade would be honor, and or expression of praise would also be a definition. So you can associate the word accolade with a synonym honor. Incessant usage. The cashier was annoyed by the customer's incessant ranting. Adjective meaning ongoing without any interruption, never ending. Incessant. A synonym would be constant. Adjective never ending. Flow without any kind of interruption. Placid. Placid would be used in a sense where you see his placid attitude during the argument was very pleasant. Adjective meaning calm and easygoing. Placid. A common synonym with placid would be calm. If we look at also our next set of words, we would see precipitate, prophetic, and prevalent. And with respect to those, precipitate, the usage, the breach of the dam was precipitated by the heavy rainfall. Verb meaning to cause, to make happen very quickly, and precipitate, you will see a common association to its synonym, which is hasten. Hasten. And to cause to happen quickly is a general meaning of this word. Prophetic, the astrologer's prophetic powers was revered by his clients as a usage in a sentence. Prophetic, adjective meaning predictive ability or able to forecast the future. And that would be the usage as far as prophetic. Synonym, predictive, a noun that you may see common associated with this term or word would be prophecy. And then we have prevalent, and prevalent basically means very common or existing in a plentiful state. So, if you were to use it in a sentence, the amount of debris prevalent in the streets after the storm. The amount of debris prevalent in the streets after the storm. Synonym would be commonplace. Commonplace is a very common synonym associated with the word prevalent. And if we take a look at our last three of the 12 words that we're accentuating today, taking a look at stoic, surpass, and teeming, we would actually see that these are quite commonly used on the exams, especially the TOEFL, and you will see them associated with their synonyms. So for stoic, the cashier had a very stoic reaction to the customer. Adjective meaning showing no emotion. So stoic would be a synonym that you should associate with the word stoic, is indifferent. Surpass usage. The player was able to surpass her previous world record. Verb meaning go beyond or exceed, and a synonym would be exceed, to exceed. That's commonly associated with the word surpass. And then we have the word teeming, and this can be a little bit tricky because sometimes it may be associated with other words which have absolutely nothing to do with its meaning, and it causes you to lose points on your exams. But teeming, basically, remember teeming as if the synonym attached to it would be overflowing. So, due to climate change, the pond was teeming with algae. That could be one possible sentence actually used. You'll actually see there, due to climate change, the pond was teeming with algae, full or something, full of something, or very crowded. So that would be actually what we were working on as far as um, going forward here on chapter 3, taking a look at some of the more common terms with respect to the TOEFL and SAT prep. We're going to start doing a lot more preparation with respect to sentence structures and actually applying these 18 grammar rules in actual in sentences, so you'll actually be able to format them a lot better going forward in preparation for your next exam. We do hope that these chapters are serving you well and you're able to pick up new words and add to your vocabulary going forward. Please keep in mind that we will continue to post these chapters as we increase the level of difficulty, and we'll also start incorporating a lot of these words that we are actually covering in actual sentences, so that make sure you go back to chapter 1 and chapter 2 to review the words that we covered there. Keep in mind, eventually we'll get to about 500 words, and we will be using them in a variety of ways in preparation for your exams, so that you'll be able to really increase your skill set with regards to grammar rules, and also increase your word and vocabulary knowledge going into the exams. So as always, just click that smash that like button, subscribe, and look for our next chapter with respect to TOEFL and SAT prep, and getting better skills for writing and speaking English. We hope this served you well, and thank you for tuning in to Bao News Network for our latest chapter on TOEFL and SAT preparation. Have a great day.